Hello and welcome to the Rise Above the Grind podcast. I am your hostess, the Consultress, Alissa, here bringing you amazing and intellectual and inspiring conversations from entrepreneurs worldwide, people who are breaking the mold and who are redefining what it means to be on the grind, whether that is being more specific about how they spend that kind of time or really being intentional about the words that they're using around how they describe themselves, their businesses, etc. So these conversations are near and dear to my heart because I've spent so much of my life iterating and innovating what really works and letting go of so much stuff that does not. So it is my pleasure and my privilege to introduce you all to Mr. Perry Mayer. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Anytime. Listen, when we can put our heads together and two is 1 + 1 is better than two, I'm all for it. So, you and I met once upon a time in the grand pursuit of networking and to figure out, how to create strategic partners. And sometimes networking can feel like a grind, but our specific discussion here today is let's redefine that word. Let's see how it shows up here for you, Perry. And then afterwards, we'll go into our studio audience and have a really lively discussion. So what does the grind mean to you?
And I think the grind was kind of instilled on me from, early days of working in college. I'm a CPA and an accounting major, and the whole time when I was in accounting school or school for accounting, they were hammering you got to go to public accounting, you got to go to public accounting. So after school, what I did, I went to public accounting. And if any of you have been in public accounting, you know what I mean. If you haven't, you're lucky. Because it is a grind and it is, starting out of school, 55-hour work weeks in busy season, mandatory Saturdays. Like it is, you put your nose in and you work. You're there until your manager leaves. We used to have a rules manager plus five. So you had to wait 5 minutes for your manager to leave for you to be able to leave. So for me, the grind is just, putting your nose down and just getting done what needs to be getting done no matter what the time is and the kind of the cost associated with that. There's travel involved, there's, missing, some family events, there's things that, are outside of your control.
Yeah, and so what I'm hearing is, uh, for those of you in public accounting, my condolences. So
Yeah.
not for nothing, but when I heard you say that the grind there is just like you got to do what you got to do, whether or not you think that it's the right timing, the right, subject for you to be paying attention to. Just open that up for us a little bit more, because it sounds like you made a different decision in going out on your own and hanging your own shingle. So how has that changed for you in terms of like how it used to be versus how it is now?
Yeah, because when you're in that role and you're in that mindset, you have we have what was called a busy season, or we're doing a specific project and you have this amount of time to get it done, and it might be a lot more work than what's allotted for that time. So you have to kind of put in those hours. There's long days, there's long nights to get that done. And after that, I went into the corporate world, which isn't as bad, but it's a lot of the same thing. There's a lot of unreal expectations that are put on people. And then being able to become an entrepreneur, you're able to set those expectations for yourself and kind of change the way that you grind in how you do that. And by kind of moving at your own pace. And that's one of the things that I love so far about this aspect.
Brilliant. So it sounds like you're making the determination as to what's important, where it goes, and how to prioritize your time. So would that be something? So now, and I heard you say, I prioritize where I grind now. This is a different definition of grind. This is more, it
Yeah.
sounds like you've got like a subset of what grind means now that you're in your own business. Say more about that.
Yeah, of course. And now it's kind of like the things that I want to bear down and put my effort into. And one of the things is networking. It's not something I've done a lot of in the past, but for me it's a grind, and it's a good one. Grind doesn't have to have a negative connotation, but it's a grind to get in and learn and to be a better networker and to learn all the ins and outs of that. And it's not, in a negative way, but it's a great way to kind of put in the work.
Yeah, man, you turned your lemons into lemonade.
Yep.
And again, we have to be really conscious in today's day and age about how we use our words and how we're describing the the quality or the quantity of our attention. So, Perry, I heard you say, public accounting firm, not for you. It felt like it was grinding you to a pulp, that you didn't have autonomy. You didn't have the ability to decide where your time was best spent. In fact, it was more like duck and cover, do what you can, but it didn't feel fulfilling. And now in this new paradigm, this new space for you of being able to choose your clients, choose your hours, choose your hard, you're able to say, okay, now I've changed this definition. And now it means where I decide to grow myself. Where is my growth edge? Where do I need to put in
Yeah.
time and attention to be able to change myself, to be able to grow myself, to be able to expand my practice? So where does this grind show up for your clients, for the people that you serve? How are you seeing them in their existing paradigm and where they're maybe suffering in their definition of this? And then I have a follow-up question after that.
Yeah, and that's the new aspect that I love about it is instead of like go to do work, now it's the help. Now the aspect is helping clients and helping small businesses to figure out like problems that they're coming up with, being a source of relief for their pain points. And that's, when I have an introduction call with any, potential client, I ask, what's your biggest pain point? How can we help you to alleviate that? That's one of the focuses because if we can take away someone's pain point, we've got, not a client for life, but you have someone that really you can help out. If you can help somebody, it makes a huge difference in them wanting to work with you. And I've noticed that recently.
So I love that you're alleviating this grind for your customers too. So this place where they're experiencing pain, now we've had this conversation. Now we know who Perry is and how he thinks and kind of how he operates. So now we want to know, Perry, this pain that you're seeing your clients experience, how do you get in there and understand their pain, and what is it that you help them go
Yeah.
from into in your business?
Yeah. And a lot of it, so, we're a full service, we do bookkeeping, fractional control and fractional CFO work. And what we like to do is help our clients to better understand their financials to get what we call financial clarity. So that's either understanding, are we profitable? If not, how can we get profitable? We look at then, our overall expenses. Are we spending too much on a certain category? A lot of clients look at like cash in the bank and say, I have this much cash in the bank, so this is how well I'm doing. We're not really looking at like profitability, like, is the goods that I'm selling, worth it? I have some clients that are doing a service. I had a dentist that told me that they are losing money every time they do a crown. And I was like, well, we need to either increase the prices of crowns or we need to find a different supplier to get you the material. So it's kind of having them to understand all the ins and outputs of their finances so that they're not grinding more. The worst thing that's happened to me is I've had a client come to me that is a doctor and says, hey, I want to increase my revenue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add more hours to work. So work more. And I was like, that's a bad idea. We don't ever want to, work more. We want to find how can we cut those expenses? How can we increase those profits? Are we pricing incorrectly? What are the things that we can do to better serve ourselves and to grow that gross profit?
High five, because you're turning what dollars and cents and sometimes very black and white numbers on a spreadsheet for people who don't think in technicolor the way that you do about numbers. Hey, let's look at your profit centers. Let's look at where you're losing dollars and figure out how to make it a profit center, or maybe it's a loss leader. You're speaking life into something that is either unknown or really painful for your business owner clients to look at themselves, because that's not where their core genius is. That's not the lane that they drive in. And so your partnership there looks like it helps them to have a peek in to the experience and the expertise of all that you bring to the table without having to feel like they need to learn all this stuff. They need to grind and figure it all out. I come from family business where my dad said, I don't outsource a thing until I know how to do it. And so in that industry and in his business, that really worked for him. He wound up learning processes until he could say, I can effectively delegate this now because I understand it. And it sounds like the pain that your clients are in are actually the reverse. They're the opposite. It's like, my business is suffering because I am not competent, or I am not fully I don't have mastery in this zone. So it's really about bringing someone in who can help them translate it and make better business decisions, because they're now aware of the things that are giving them pain that they don't even know how to identify. I always like the
Yeah.
chiropractor analogy. One of my friends always said, she's like, they go to a chiropractor and like, I have pain in my shoulder. And she says, well, the chiropractor will tell you that it's probably because you have misalignment in your hip. You don't have a shoulder problem. You really have a hip problem. And let me fix that for you. Let me show you how that referral pain is associated. And so thank you for the work that you do in the world. How can people connect with you and learn more? Because they've been so inspired hearing who you are and how you operate that they need to hire you and they need to be in your network.
Yeah, you can find us either on LinkedIn, Vital Accounting Services, or through our website, acct.com. We also have Facebook and Instagram, so look us up, or reach out to me directly through my LinkedIn. Always happy to help. Always, like to talk through if even if you have a question or just want to have a quick, consultation on, just better understanding, your finances, understanding, if you need a bookkeeper, if you need fractional CFO, we're just here to be a trusted advisor. And I just like to help and educate people. I have people all the time just reach out for questions and just to get more information. So if that's you, please feel free to reach out to us.
Amen. High five. You heard it here. If you are grinding and you don't understand your books and records or how to grow your business by paying attention to it, you need this man in your life. Reach out to me. I'm happy to provide an introduction. And so if you're listening to this on the podcast, stay tuned. We have another episode lined up right for you right after this. So don't go away.